patient data. So yeah, maybe this to the government. I don't know if there's anyone who can talk to that. Yeah.
I want to say one thing when it comes to the government and healthcare systems in our country. I would say there is so much work to be done first on the instrument part of the hospitals themselves. I mean, our healthcare system has a lot of work to be done, because I think now, I mean, recent years, maybe we're trying to have more instruments that are more modern, that are going to help more people.
Yeah.
So I think possibly also maybe the focus is, where is the focus right now for most hospitals,
Yeah.
for the healthcare system, because we do want to save as many lives as possible, right?
Yeah.
But also we find ourselves, maybe these hospitals, they do not have enough utilities to help a patient.
Yeah.
They do not have enough utilities to maybe help pregnant women. So
Yeah.
so you'll find that these innovations, like billing system, for them it's maybe a second priority. Because they're looking at what is the farthest. Okay, maybe we need to save more pregnant women's lives. We need to save more Siamese twins, the twins that are born with maybe heads connected. So there, I think when it comes to healthcare, there are so many issues that we need to consider. And to add to what you guys have said, data is, it's really something that's very sensitive, especially when it comes to healthcare, because there are so many problems and there's so many things. I don't think anybody would just want to share like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you understand?
Yeah. So talking about policy, I've been working with government institution for past 3 years.
Yeah.
I've seen kind of good moves, like on the process of data privacy, making sure like the policies of the systems that have been implemented are correct, and at some point making sure that the integration of the systems are happening. For example, recently the government have imposed the policy in the information systems, making sure like there are no repetitive information systems from one institution to another.
Yeah.
So if we have this information system, it handles, let's say, human resource, it means it can be used by this institute and that institute and that institute, like evading the process of reinventing the wheel and making like we will want to develop our own thing. So in the end of the day, what I see there, at the end of the day, they intend to have integrated system that they can speak from one another. But moving from the point that V mentioned, the empowerment also has to be done, because we have health providers, but these health providers have the education needed to handle those systems if they have to be put there.
Yes.
And do we have proper maintenance schedule, or like providers like technicians and supports to support the systems if they'll be implemented? Because talking right now, we're talking about health institutions which have 1, 2, 3 tech supports, who only knows how to open a computer and close the computer. If a certain system goes down, that means you have to wait 2 days for another specialized service provider who can come and maintain that thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So we can come back from the policy that has started being worked on, but come back also putting the emphasis on the providing proper resources to the staff who we intend after 4 years we give the system to him or her to handle it, making sure like they have the proper education and knows how to manage it, and also making sure like you have proper infrastructures. Talking about information system that talks from one institution to another, that means have strong connectivity of internet, making sure having proper ethical, people like cyber people who making sure like data breaches are handled on, and making sure having people who are testing and making sure there are no errors. If we look in a lot of movies, when you have just a single number, you can trace a person from payments to financial, to health systems, right?
Yeah.
But what if we implement these systems just for the sake that we have information systems that work and integrated? but also we end up losing people's data.
Yeah.
As for example, in the past few years, we have seen information system be put on to provide us some IDs that we needed. But at the end of the day, the government kind of failed to handle it. Nowadays, if you want that service, that means you have to go physically to that place to get that service. I won't mention it.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
So what if they're afraid of that same thing to happen,
Yeah.
and it is health information system? That means
sure.
you're dealing with private data of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's true, by the way, the government should not be afraid of its citizen. It should actually seek to innovate, so that by the time they're releasing some of these solutions, they are well prepared. And by the way, technically, it's possible and it's doable. It's a matter of just being open to say, this is what we need as a government, and this is how we want to implement it. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but we are willing to test it for some time to see if it's perfect before when we release it to the public. So, and that actually not only even increases revenue collection, things to do with how government operates in terms of tax collections and whatnot. Because at the end of the day, if for instance, I'll give you an example of what I've experienced in an hospital in Kenya. So you get a lab test, right? So there is no way to tell if that lab test is out until you come back to the hospital physically. Maybe of course, if you're taking that lab test, you're not feeling so well, right?
Yeah.
So what you'll do is just chill there. If it's 4 hours, that's 4 hours of unproductivity. Assuming that there are people who are like, okay, maybe you need to take a medical lab test, which actually is not that you're feeling bad, but just to confirm either for travel or otherwise, then there should be a way to notify you. And I think some hospitals have gone out of their way, private hospitals, to implement some of these solutions. You get a text. And that's when our Africa's Talking comes in. So this is a shameless plug. So you get like a text that your results are ready. Please collect them. And one thing that made me to know this is totally possible is during Corona time. So you could get all these messages sensitizing you, and even when you go and get tested, they will tell you your tests are ready. Come and collect them. So why is it not possible for others?
Yeah, I think one thing, like the government is capable of doing these things. Governments are capable of doing them. When they governments will do something because they see the need to do that. For example, the national IDs thing, right? We have the national ID in Tanzania. I heard that in Kenya at the same time, coincidentally maybe, but I think it's not coincidental. In Kenya, also they're rolling out those programs. Like every citizen should have an ID.
Uduma
right?
number?
Yeah. I mean, national ID identification for every citizen, having the national identity number, right? Those programs, I think they were rolled out at the same time. I think it was an incentive from like a push from the World Bank, the IMF, wanting that. So it's a program by the IMF.
Yeah.
So all citizens in the world to have their national identity number.
Yeah.
So African governments, what they can they do? They want the IMF funds. They won't be able to go against the IMF. They have to say, all right, sir, let's push.
Yeah.
So if we can have that kind of drive even in our own matters, innovating in our own matters, like even in the health industry, we shouldn't wait for the World Health Organization to say like, yo guys, we need digitizing all the health facilities.
For sure.
Right? We push it on ourselves. I think that will be, for example, one thing that the Tanzanian governments have done it well. I think is the in Tanzania we have like the e-government, an organization that deals with all the government electronic related things, right?
They have done e-citizen in Kenya, back in Kenya.
Yeah, here we call it e-government.
Okay.
So Tanzania is governmental, ni serikali. So yeah, it's e-government. All right.
Yeah.
So the e-government guys have done it so well on the payment system, right? Have integrated the payment system, the government payment gateway, it's called. So they have done it so well. Like you can easily pay for government services on M-Pesa, on any payment platform, right? Even on the banks, everywhere. They have done that so well. It's one of the areas that the the guys have done it well.
Yeah.
So I think we can do on the payment. We can also do on the, on the payment. It's easy to do it because we see it's where the money is actually coming from the citizen to the government, right?
Yeah.
But again, in other areas, you can also do it.
Eugene wants to contribute. Yes, Eugene.
Yeah, I don't know about Tanzania. I don't know who or what firm was contributed or was contracted to do the e-government platform in Tanzania.
Yeah.
But in Kenya, we have a problem. The government always looks outward when it comes to such solutions. So I don't know if a citizen, our replica or our the same platform, like the one you have in Tanzania, the e-government one. I don't know whether a Kenyan firm was contracted to do that, but you find that most of our governments look abroad, mostly Europe. So, for example, we just came out of an election. We had a very powerful system, very powerful portal that the IBC was, our electoral body was bragging about. So you find that such a system, I'm sure that we have enough talent to develop such systems. If wanted to, and it will be cheaper, it will be easier if we had Kenyans developing it. So I don't think the government, as it is right now, trusts us enough to let us develop such systems. It is good enough that maybe we are at that level where we say that we have such a system, but the question is, who developed this system? Is it from our solutions? So I think that is also another problem when it comes to as much as we have the solutions, as much as we have all these services, are they developed by our developers? So until such a point where we say that these are our solution, we did these, I'd have more trust in the government and by the fact that they also trust us.
Yeah.
As developers, of course, I'm speaking from an engineering, a developer that is someone in the industry.
Amazing. Yeah.
I think one thing, the Tanzanian government actually, as I told you, like Tanzania, it's governmental, it's nature, right? So most of the things are government centered. Have to come from the government's point. Different from Kenya. I think all of that have its advantages and disadvantages, right? So sometimes there are things that the government would want to do that actually it should be done by the private sector. That's why you see in Kenya you have a very big private sector compared to Tanzania, to be honest. So that's one. But I think there are some of the innovations that they should be done by at least contract, very strict contract with the government, even if it's somebody who has been given to do it, that is not the government. Even the e-gov, I think it should have been done by citizens, private contractors, contracting with the government under strict terms to do it, to foster, to boost the private sector, right? So again, also one thing I think, even on the health industry, we can't just rely on the government to build the health system. Even individual developers can create APIs, open source APIs, right? Build those APIs. Like, for example, those softwares projects that can help inform the public, that links between hospitals, for example, health centers with individuals, those systems, right? We don't need to wait for the government to build those.
For sure.
Yeah.
So let me ask this then, that this is coming up really strongly. Do you think that maybe even developer communities or innovation spaces or even innovation startups, can they now build such solutions with the target of selling it to the private sector? And over time, because at the end of the day, as we said about even fintech and whatnot, the government always follows the innovation. And I think, I don't know if it's by design, but basically what actually happens, there's bureaucracy, right? The process of approval can take ages. And you see, if you build a solution, you want to also earn from it, you want to scale, you want to build something. So you need to be cognizant of what is happening and how government operates for you to really navigate the waters. So you guys, do you think this is doable as developers or?
So I can say that every innovation starts from personal level.
Mm.
Okay, and our governments, it doesn't matter in Tanzania, Kenya, or wherever in the world,
Yes.
when it sees something good and it's successing, it adapts it. Okay, so like for example, talking about our information systems or how we handle our services, if we see like we are comfortable and also confident that we have a solution and it works, we want the government to let's say integrate it with the government, making sure the government does it. We can start concentrating on the private institutions.
Yes.
Like for example, in 2010 back to 2015, a lot of private institutions are the ones who had private developed education management information systems.
Yeah.
And then the government came, like government institutions came and also started to kind of being the lenders, like pay services as, like you pay as you use from those
Pay as you
private
go, yeah.
pay as you go from private sector, private investors who develop those systems. And at the end of the day, the government institutions now they work and they were like, okay, so now we can create our own. Like they have used it and they have seen like it is perfect. So now they aimed and created their own.
Yeah.
Okay, and we came from a point where we had private institutions where private companies which were creating payment gateways, like Africa is talking, right? But we came to the point like the government saw like, oh, so there is a loophole, so we can earn also. Yeah. What if we can create our own API and integrate everything as this and that's doing? So back to the point here, the health information systems, to start creating and convincing the government, like I'm the inventor in the certain hub. Yeah. I've invented these systems. Like I don't have the power of convincing the government to adapt and use my systems because they have never seen it being used anywhere.
There's no test.
Yes, there is no test. So to be able to enter, like I kind of need a diversion to show like, look at me, I'm doing something perfect. Build a system, sell to private health institutions. Like we have different hospitals, like let's say Aga Khan, which has branches almost around Tanzania. Like you sell them the system and they use it, and the government be like, wow, these guys are doing this efficiently. At the end of the day, they either will be your clients or at the end of the day, they'll be replicating what you have done. And they'll be like, at some point, they'll be kind of appreciating that you have done something good. Yes. And we really liked it. Yeah. I've seen some people and I've met some people who started building systems for private and then they were selling to government. But at the end of the day, they ended up having position in good position in the government. Yeah. Like elder being the people's overseeing the systems because they know how it works from inside. Yeah. Or they have seen the skill somewhere, the government tends to take it and then it recruits it, making sure like it handles certain things that you have skills on. Yeah. So it's all start from the personal level, making sure that you create something that you're confident with and fighting customers that they kind of relate to what you intend. Absolutely. It's kind of faking it till you make it. Yeah.
I like how you concluded that. Yeah. So that said, I think education, as most of us have been taught to believe, is the key, right? But I think that narrative is changing very fast. Because people are like, yes, education is good, but there is education, there is study, there is learning, and there is implementing all that into solution. What role do you think education in Tanzania could play in changing our tech ecosystem is right now and in future?
Well, currently we're in 10% out of 1,000. Yeah. Because we have a lot of edtech companies which are creating contents from animations, from applications, from contents. But a lot of them are just focusing electronically. Yeah. But looking in the education standard of Tanzania, we have a lot of local and rural areas which people don't have even access the content. I mean, the instruments to use those services that are created.
Yeah.
So let's say the company will create, I'll have an idea to create an application that will be delivering content to people about physics, chemistry, and then they can do tests online and everything. So that means I intend that service to be used by people in the places that they have electricity and access to those services, right?
Yeah.
But what about that remaining 40, 50, 60 million of people who don't even know what computer is?
Yeah.
So in the education, technologically, as we have a lot of people who don't even know what is a computer, we have zero people who can be reached with the edtech. Speaking of that, I'm a teacher. I've been teaching students on developing, knowing computers and also changing challenges into solutions, whatever, using business. It's called human-centered design. I've met students who, in the first day, it's a 4-month program. The first day, they don't know how to move a mouse. And in the last day, students are presenting to you it's kind of automated or simulation of everything that you do in the laboratory. See, and they have created themselves. So in the education, we are moving, we're kind of going that way, but we are forgetting what is needed at the first point. We are kind of building a house, but forgetting that we have to build the foundation first. This house, if in person just bang the door, it would just drop. See. So
so we are building a house of cards.
Yeah, we are just building a house of cards. Which can fall any day. So in education and with technology, I think we are aiming a different place, but with perfect materials, but aiming a different place. We kind of have a lot of ideas, a lot of solutions, but we are forgetting that we need to build the foundation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I mean, yeah, you have put it really, really well. That foundation, exposure, education is needed. And I feel like also we are using our media the wrong way.
Yeah, sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That we could use our media to sensitize people on, education, on tech, what needs to be done. And because remember, I think every household right now has a phone, even if it's a feature phone. And remember, there are things like USSD, there's things like SMS, there are things like airtime, airtime, there are things like voice, where people actually could use it in one or the other to learn. Right? And even this could go down even to the translation of, English to Swahili, to the local language. Where people could understand, okay, if I hear this is what it means in Swahili, or if I don't understand Swahili, this is what it means. Okay, I'm pitching $1 million idea here, but I mean, this is a solution that you could build really easily, and even have like the most 100 popular. And even one word you could be selling at what? 50, buku ni pesa ngapi? You know, so, you understand what I'm saying?
We are in the environment where, like, in the rural, they just live that that life of going to school and studying the books. Okay, and at some point they don't even, some even don't have the books that we think that they have. So they just go, and some of them just sitting in the stones, and the teachers will just be writing with chalks. And some schools are using smart projectors, smart screens, smart laptops. See, so we are kind of in very different levels from one point to another. So I think, for example, I've thought very much like, how can I impact making sure in the next day I enter in a class, I don't find a student who doesn't know how to engage with a computer, a student who doesn't know how to think like logically. Like a lot of kids nowadays just think that if I finish school, if she's a lady, I'll be married. If it's a boy, I'll just start business. And some I've started being walking. Okay, so you can do something else. But a lot of people, which may come from edtech, also we have to think technology first. We don't have the exposure to technology. So since I remember when growing up, my grandmother used to say, like, if you sit on the kitchen stones, we have like those 3 stones. If you sit in one of them, you'll grow a tail. So then I had a fear, like, if I sit in here, I'll have a tail. So one day I remember I just thought, I sat there without knowing. And then I was like, whoa, I stand up and I was looking for it. Is it there?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a lesson. At the end of the day, you learn that if you sit there, you might just drop there and get burnt with fire. See? So, and then in the process of learning in schools, we have these storybooks. See, that teaches us about good manners, about health, how to maintain ourselves and everything. But we forget also we have to teach our kids about technology, and we can do everything through stories.
Chief, say no more.
I don't want to say
you have written a couple of these books, actually.
Yes, I've been writing.
How many of them?
About 5.
5 of them.
Yeah, but
And how long are they?
I haven't released them.
Oh, you haven't released
Yeah,
them.
I haven't released any.
So this is a special shout out. Oh.
Yeah, special shout out.
Yeah.
Those maybe
Like how
in
many
many-
pages are they each?
about 40.
40 pages.
Yeah, in Swahili.
Oh, and this all is introducing computers in school to the
computer
young kids.
to kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How old?
even-
Like which
even
age limit? Like between
Age
what?
limit?
Yeah.
And
Like
Any-
is it between 5 and 10
yeah,
or
anyone who can link one sentence to another. Yeah, even grown-ups.
So this could be also the guys who are not fortunate to go to
Yeah.
school and
Yeah.
they wanna like understand what is happening.
Yes.
Ah, nice, man, nice.
Yeah.
You need a shout out here. That's very good. That's very good.
So, but anyway, I see also to us who are creating solutions, edtech solutions, while creating solutions digitally to impact those people who have the privilege of owning smartphones and tablets and computers.
Yeah.
Also, we can do the same thing that we are doing. Let's say we are creating animations for people who have TV, but some people don't even have the TV to access that content.
Absolutely.
We have to find a different way of accessing. You know, it's kind of a producer of goods, like a manufacturer.
Yeah.
Will aim you in a different way. If you're thirsty, you drink Moore's cola, and then if you wanna start fire, you use Moore's matchbox. See, and at the end of the day, you are the consumer of more. But in also the education that we want to provide, you have to make sure, okay, I want you to be my consumer. I want you to have the education that I'm providing.
Yeah.
But you have the access of the TV, use this.
Yeah.
You have the access of the
So you have to reach
smartphone.
people where they are.
Yes. Yeah, in that way, it's kind of creating ads nowadays. We have we have the banners that we post on the streets and everywhere. We have those billboards. We have the ads on smartphones. We have ads on TV. But we forget we have to at some point deliver those ads to in the village.
Yeah.
But we deliver there using like the printing pages and everything. At some point we'll even go there and do some campaigns.
Yes.
What if we use the same effort that we use on
You mean
advertising?
during political periods?
Yeah, kind of that.
Yeah.
So
even
how
this is interesting that you've brought it up because this always happens after 5 years, especially in Kenya.
like even a
T-shirts
kid
will get to
knows.
the more tasty village.
Yeah.
But when it comes to something that like education, things like iron sheet to cover their classrooms, it will take ages for it to be implemented.
Yeah, like you can even go in the remote village. You just find a grandma like 100 years old wearing "Choose Me" for President T-shirt, but doesn't even know anything about technology. So we can use that effort.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What a way to come to conclusion in this. Speaking to this lady and gentleman, it gives me hope and happiness to be in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, because my purpose in life is to see Africa that is better than I found it. And I think this takes a whole lot of people to do it. As they say in Africa, it takes a village. Right? And thank you so much, our beautiful, awesome listeners. It's been a privilege to have you join us. Thank you so much. Until next time, I'm your host, Michael Kimathi. But without forgetting, Africa Stocking, which powers the communication between business, governments, and organizations of all sizes and their customers or citizens on SMS, USSD, airtime, and voice gateways and APIs. Africa Stocking supports GDPR data compliant communication on our future-ready customer data platform, Valeria. Until next time, developers, see ya.